What's something we learned today? What's a quote that we can...
Oh, don't take life for granted.
Mm-hmm.
That's the quote of the day.
Yeah.
Like we did last time in our lost episode.
No, our last one was, you have to have the bad times to get to the good times.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it's a quote, like I mean, like, we did a quote last time, and now we're doing a quote again.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, like, that's the thing we do in our podcast, but I'm just saying was that last podcast was the lost episode.
Yeah, it's the lost episode, so if anybody ever finds
Please give it back.
Please give it back to us, because, like, we spent, like, 10 minutes on that.
A little bit more than that. Oh, you guys saw what I was doing.
It was precious time that we're never gonna get back.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of glad that we couldn't hear it, because...
It would have been really good. Too good for our ears.
It was so bad.
But you know what? We're gonna do better this time.
You know, today, when read the thing, he was like, wow, what a virgin.
He scares me.
What if
he was the one that did
it?
it?
Probably wasn't him, if he said that.
I mean, who would write that? People are like, I bet it was a senior.
But, like, I feel like, why would the seniors do that, though?
Yeah. But a lot of seniors are, like, really stupid and think everything, like,
That is
little
very
things,
true.
I mean...
They also think that the underclassmen deserve to, like, suffer for
Yeah.
no reason. I don't like how they cancel only after school activities. 'Cause
When they
it's
should
like-
have canceled school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when did they find out about the note?
Last night.
Yeah, so they could have canceled it.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
Yeah.
no.
That's
you did.
yeah, cause and remember the announcement? They were like, we would like to thank the student who emailed us last night.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Okay, but, like, that makes me really upset. It was just a rumor.
Mhm.
And they were like, oh, taking into consideration the rumor that's being spread through social media, and it's like, it's not a rumor being spread through social
Yeah.
media.
Everybody was
it's
talking
a
about
picture, like, of actual
Yeah.
evidence being
Exactly.
spread.
And they're like, it's not actual evidence. Like, as someone who always, someone who's always wanted to be, like, a cop and is really into that type of stuff, like, I know that, like, literally anything could be evidence. If we did have school shooting, that would be evidence. Like,
Yeah.
even though nothing
See,
has
that's-
happened, it's
mhm.
still evidence.
Because,
Yeah.
like, you have to think about what would happen afterwards.
Even
Because
sorry.
Because I feel like if there was a school shooting and they didn't know who it was, they would start sampling kids' handwriting
Yeah.
and stuff.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
Even if it is a rumor, you should still take it seriously at school.
They should have
lately.
Exactly.
They should have been looking at the surveillance cameras and
Yeah.
seen who had
That's
gone
what I
into
was
that
thinking.
bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, there's been so many shootings in America lately.
Exactly.
So, like,
But like,
why wouldn't you take it seriously?
It is true that it's been like normalized or whatever,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't seem that scared, like, oh, a
Yeah, that's
shooting.
pretty sad that people kept making jokes out of it. They
Yeah.
were like, well, it was gonna happen eventually, but it's like sad when you actually think about it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, you know, like, Olivia said something that was, like, really, like, crazy, and it was just, like, she was like, what if he's in here? Like, what if the school shooter's in a room? Like, what if we lock ourselves in?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're safe.
Yeah,
We're
that's
not.
what
Yeah.
I said to
Yeah, me too.
my table. But then we all turned around and looked at this one kid. And we were like, And then this one kid that's new, and he, like, hates the teacher. He wasn't there today, and we were like,
Oof. Yeah, it was, the first block was crazy. You like, you know, you walk through the school, you're like, oh, there's cops, and then, you know, you sit down, and
Yeah, and then you're like, hey,
Yeah.
did you hear? We might
Yeah.
get shot up today, and it's like, oh, okay.
Like, yeah, I wasn't that nervous
It's
at first, and then
actually-
people started talking about it. I was like, oh my god, we could actually...
It's actually
Yeah.
kind of funny, because we were, like, all messaging each other, and we were like, why are there so many cops
Yeah.
at school today?
Yeah.
I actually said to you, I was like, I bet we had a school threat.
yeah. Because actually, when I was walking in, I was like, it's kind of weird how there's cops at the back.
Mhm.
Like, you know, and I was thinking, oh, maybe they're directing the buses to go somewhere else. Maybe there's a problem with, like, the because remember, I think it was the beginning of the year, the pipes blew and the road was uncertain, like, it was uneven or something. They didn't want the buses going on there. So I was like, oh, maybe something like that happened again. And then I saw your phone, like, I just looked at the text, and they're like, oh, there's cops everywhere. And I was like, oh.
I was honestly just thinking that they were doing a really, like, thorough, like, drug
search.
Yeah.
But it was kind of sad how everybody was saying, like, stay safe, guys.
Yeah, that made me really upset.
When you would leave a class.
Yeah, and all the teachers would be like, stay safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or, yeah.
When she said stay safe, it was like, oh.
It was literally like, she was the one that told me. She sat down and she was like, guys, did you hear? She was like, what? She was like, there's a school shooting threat today. And I was like, no. She was like, yes, there is. That's why there's people leaving. And I was like, it's senior ditch day, though. She's like, no, I mean, people are leaving the school. On senior ditch day, people don't come to school. They don't come to school just to leave. And I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah, and and I feel like the school really, even the police station probably should have said something to the school, but I feel like it's really wrong for them to be giving misinformation to parents, being like, oh, it's just a rumor, like, don't worry about it. Like, no, it wasn't just a rumor. There's picture evidence of the wall with that written on it, and yeah, it could have been a kid playing a prank, but what if it wasn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Take it seriously still.
I feel like that invalidates what the students went through today, because they're gonna get home and their parents are gonna be like, yeah, but it was a rumor being spread through social media, and it's like,
no,
you weren't there.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't see how, like, I literally saw kids in my first block class calling their moms and telling them that they didn't know what was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this one girl tell her mom that if she died,
everybody was like getting scared, like, I'm gonna text my mom and tell her I love her. I was like, guys.
Yeah, no, I was like considering, I literally started messaging my mom, and I was like, Mom, so apparently there's a school shooting threat, and like, I don't want to scare you, but you know, if it happens, it's gonna be at 9:30, so you know, if I don't message you, just like, you know, like, don't be scared, I'll try to message you.
Did you ever message her back?
Huh?
Did you message her back?
No.
Oh my god.
I was gonna text my parents, but then I didn't want to because I didn't want to worry them.
Well,
and then they texted me, was like, is there a lockdown? I was like, yeah, how'd you know?
Well, there wasn't a lockdown.
There wasn't a lockdown.
Oh, I meant to say no, not yet. I said
not yet, yes.
And then, my mom, she was like, wait, so you guys are in your classrooms, right? And I was like, yeah. She was like, are you guys, like, technically on lockdown? Like, you're not allowed to go into the halls, right? And I was like, no, we're allowed. And then she was like, well, during passing period, don't go out. And I was like, Mom, they're making us go to our next class. Like, there's nothing I can do.
Some kids in my class was like, can we stay during passing period and go when the bell rings? And my teacher's like, yeah, I'll just give you a pass.
I know, my teacher for my first block, since everyone was scared to leave the room, she waited in the hallway, like here's the door, and the door was slightly closed, and she was outside going like this. So, like, if she saw someone, like, walking the hallways, like, she would be like, no, guys, we're going back.
Teacher?
Yeah, she's so sweet. Yes.
Oh. It makes me so upset that she would say that. She was like, I'll protect you guys.
Yeah, she's literally
24.
So
she's literally only 8 years older than us.
Yeah, she said she just graduated college, like, last year and stuff.
See, that's what, like, to me, I find sad, because, like, she knows what it's like. She, like, college campuses still are, like, you know, school shooter grounds, so. I feel like it's going to continue for the rest of the year, though. Like, it's being scared that it's going to, like, happen again.
Like, first of all, I think the biggest question is, like, why would they write down? Like, why would they say, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, but a lot of people have done that before, and then they're like, oh, it's not a big thing, and then it happens.
Like, remember the guy who did Parkland? They were, like, they found, like, a YouTube comment from, like, 6 years ago that said, like, or not, I mean, actually, I think it was more recent than that, but it was like, oh, I'm going to shoot this school at this time on this day, and it ended up happening. And, like...
And then, during lunch, we were talking about the Columbine shooters, and how they were posting it on social media. And then they did it, so, I mean...
And then...
But, like... No, sorry, do they, like, tell you when it's going to happen, so they, like, have a challenge and make it feel like a game or something?
I feel like
since their brains are kind of messed up.
Maybe, yeah.
They're like, oh, this will be more fun if they know what's coming.
I feel like, because, like, you know, like, people make lists and stuff. It's like, why would you make a list? Because I feel like that makes it, like, a hunting list, or, like, a scavenger hunt or something. You're, like, looking for specific people, like, it's a game to you. So I feel like, I don't know.
And that's another thing, is, like, there's a lot of jokes where it's like, oh, don't come to school tomorrow, because that's, like, implying, like, oh, don't come to school together because I like you and I want you to die at my school, you know? And, I think that's kind of one of those things that they wrote it so people who would go to that stall would be like, wait, you know,
Yeah.
and be like, I'm not going to school tomorrow, you know. But like, you know, it's just kind of weird. And I wonder if there's anything else like that in the school, because like, what if someone wrote that on a desk?
Yeah.
And like, but hey, maybe it's a desk in this one room that has a small class and no one's ever in there and they never notice, you know? Like, yeah. Or like a
But,
note
like,
that ends up getting stuck to someone's shoe and going to the weird place, getting picked up and thrown away.
But like,
Yeah.
you never know when it's gonna happen, because some people won't leave a note.
I feel.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I feel like some kids were making jokes that were like okay. Like for me, I was doing stuff like, oh my god, couldn't they postpone it? Like, you know, like
Yeah.
I have stuff.
Yeah,
that
I was like, I have a
wanna do.
test.
Yeah.
Or like, it was really funny because someone knocked on the door to get in because they went to the bathroom and the teacher was locking the door because we were getting really scared. But
Yeah.
and she knocked on the door and like was like, oh my god, like that. Really, it was really funny because it was just like, I mean, you know, it was just funny.
Yeah, but like I feel like it was kids coping mechanism.
Yeah, that's how, like,
yeah.
I feel like that's how a lot of people cope.
So like that was fine, but then there were people that were taking it too far.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
during AP World, he started playing Pumped Up Kicks.
He did?
Yeah, and that I
Yeah.
just felt like that wasn't okay because like playing that song in
Mhm.
that setting just wasn't funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then people were making fun of like other school shootings that happened.
They were?
Yeah, and
So
it's
you're
like
It's not a thing to make
You
fun
know what's
of.
weird? Okay, I don't know. Sorry, this is off topic, but it's like we were talking about Columbine in our class, and she's like, "What's Columbine?" And I was like,
yeah, some people don't know about like
"Yeah."
important things. Like,
And we even watched the clips from.
Mhm.
Remember, we had to watch it, and I was like, "Please stop."
I remember this morning I was like, don't you guys remember what happened in Parkland? And the 3 people that were sitting at my table with me were like, what's Parkland? And I was like, how do you not know
What? That's
what?
like really big.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
one of the worst
We
ones.
literally had
Yeah.
a walkout last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say like Columbine and Parkland are like the 2 biggest ones
Mm-hmm.
by
Mhm.
far.
But like,
And then they have what's that one? There's another huge one. It keeps talking.
wait, is
Oh,
Columbine?
Sandy Hook.
Yeah,
Sandy
the-
Hook.
yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yes.
But at school, I feel like they should switch out the doors we have right now without windows.
That's what. Yeah, cause
Don't they have
'Cause, like,
bulletproof windows? Or like doors? Or
some
something?
classes do, some classes don't. The school in they had them, but not here. I don't think.
But like,
Oh yeah, that was
a lot of
Carl
people are in the line of getting shot.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking a test and like I was right in front of the door. I was like,
Yeah.
well,
I was in world history, and we have a door. There's a class with no windows.
Mhm.
No. We have one door with a window, but that's to a different classroom.
oh yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then but I was thinking, I was like, what if like if someone was to open the door from the other classroom and looked left to right and saw that we only had 5 people in our class, they could probably with one gun could shoot all of us, you know. So even the layout of the school is really like not safe.
But like the teachers, they told us that if something were to happen, to start throwing things.
Yeah, that's
Well, that is
Like I feel like
that's-
that would help because
Yeah.
like
Cause they.
if everybody joins in and like tries to do something,
but
I feel
then like
it'll work.
today, after the time went by, like more people left, and if it happened later in the day, you'd have less
That
people,
would have
and it'd
been
be
really sad. Like
you leave your friend at school and you find out
Yeah.
they died from
'Cause they were,
the
like-
shooting
'cause they were,
couldn't
like-
leave.
yeah, because literally all the teachers are like, you can't miss your tests and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and it's like imagine like getting like killed
Just
at
because
school
you had to stay, yeah.
because you didn't want to miss a test.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what all our homework, and we're like, are you not concerned? She's like, I don't have time to be concerned. I have to do this homework.
Isn't it something she would say?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't have time to be concerned.
And then I made a joke to her. I was like, yeah, you'd rather not get beat. You know, it's better to die than to get beat, you know? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
How'd you know?
Oh. But no. I would say also the biggest... Actually, told me that she was like, you know, they keep telling us we have all this extra security with all the police officers. But the thing is, let's say there's 20 police officers in the school. That means there's 20 guns in the school.
Yeah.
Like, what if someone stole a gun from a police officer, shot them, start shooting us?
Mhm.
You know?
But not only that, how are you gonna like equip the school with police officers and then have them leave halfway through the day
Yeah,
because there
that's
wasn't
what I
enough
was saying.
evidence. It's like, at least keep them until the school day's over.
Yeah.
There's not enough evidence, so you don't need police officers. Like, there's still evidence.
Also, I thought it was really, I'm gonna use the word disgusting because I feel like this is really how I feel about it, but it's like, I think it's disgusting how she's like, I'm gonna keep you guys updated, let you know what's happening, and then nothing.
Yeah.
She emailed us once saying, oh, after school activities are over, like, we're not doing
the stupid intercom thing, even though nobody was gonna go anyways, like,
yeah.
like
Half the
that's
school.
what makes me really angry, is that they canceled after school activities, and probably just to appeal to the parents and have the parents be like, oh my god, like, they care about the kids, like,
Mhm.
they canceled after school activities, even though it was for their own benefit, because, like, don't some coaches get paid?
Well, I mean, I'm not quite sure about that.
But, like, I don't know, but I feel like it was for their own benefit, because it was, like, their staff that was gonna have to stay after school and not have anybody to coach anyways.
Yeah.
So that's what they were concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't actually care about, like, the students or, like, them being in danger and there not being any security at school.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and that's, I mean, like, I think one of the stupidest things was telling me when she was walking to school today that the doors were locked and someone had to open it for her.
Mm-hmm.
That seems so why would you lock the doors? What if
Yeah.
we needed to run out? Like, they're saying, like, oh, but then people can't come in. Like,
School systems in America are so stupid.
they are.
honestly, the fact that
It's like,
we're the only country that has to worry about this when you think
Mhm.
about it.
and it's like so normalized. Like all Americans do. It's like, oh, it's gonna happen
Yeah,
someday.
literally.
So
Yeah.
It's really sad because, like, we were waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
Like, we knew that this was gonna happen to us one day.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, honestly, like, I feel bad for saying this, but if, like, some people had gotten shot, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Mm-hmm. Like, I
I
feel
mean,
like,
it's sorry.
I was just gonna say, I feel like everyone today was expecting to at least hear a gunshot. Like, you know?
Yeah.
I was expecting
No, but, like,
at least something to happen.
but it was so crazy because when you were in the halls, like, everybody was running to their classrooms, and that's, like, really sad to see.
Yeah.
Everybody's like running. Or
And I
like,
was running and I started to hug, and I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen today, but if anything happens, I want to know that you're my best friend. I love you. She's like, nothing's gonna happen, and I'm like, like, don't ruin the moment.
I got
Sorry,
really
Sarah.
angry because I started messaging, and I was like, guys, like, if something happens, like, you know, like, please have fun at the BTS concert, and, like, please remember how much I loved them too. And then I got really angry because I started being all technical about it, and she was like, well, actually, and then I was like, listen, I'm trying to have a moment here to tell you guys that if something happens, I love you. And then she's like, well, actually, technically, it's not real. And I'm like, who are you to say it's not real?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was even telling. This isn't gonna happen. I'm like, but what if it does? He's like, it's not gonna happen. I'm like, but what if it does? Like, what's, like, you know, I even showed him the picture, and after he saw the picture, he was just like, actually, it's funny because he was like, they spelled tomorrow wrong, and they did, but
What do you expect?
yeah, but no, I just, he kept saying like, it's not gonna happen. I'm like, what if it does? Because, like, again, like, it could happen.
I wasn't really, like, upset when I was, like, well, like, the reason why I got upset was because, like, you know, I have, like, something that I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like if it were to come down to it and I didn't have anything to look forward to, I really wouldn't have cared as much. But what made me sad was, like, imagining my family and how
me
they
too.
would have
Yeah.
felt. Because today I was running late to school,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really want to come, and my parents were like, we'll drive you. And that guilt would have probably, like, eaten away at them for the rest of their lives, being like, we told her we would drive her to school
And
today.
like, I don't want to make you more sad, but like, your brother wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Like, your sister would know, and it would like be a burden on
Yeah.
her, and
No,
like,
and then I would imagine my dog.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, we were
never
talking
come-
about lunch.
Like, imagine never coming back home
and they'd
to
be
your
like waiting
dog.
for you.
That's so sad. And, like, I have my own room at home. Like,
Yeah.
imagine your parents
Like
walking into your
walking to your
room.
remembering all the
When they were, like, they literally always, like, yell at me for, like, having a messy room, but if they were to walk into my room after something like that happened, they would probably, like, think about, like, oh, I shouldn't have yelled at her so much about, like...
I thought you were going to say something sweet, like, oh, now this room just, like, is her, like, just represented her. But no, you're like, no, she shouldn't have yelled at me.
You shouldn't have yelled at me. But, like, I don't know. It's just, like, it's really sad.
Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, like, I mean, like, one of the saddest things is, like, you know, you always hear stories of, like, kids who commit suicide, and when they come to school, they have, like, these group therapy sessions for, like, you know, and then, like, what if we had a school shooting? Like, just imagine the toll. Like, even if, like, someone I didn't know. Like
imagine going to school and, like, missing kids in your class because they died.
Yeah, like,
that sounds horrible.
And, like, you have to keep going on with that.
No, because, like, all the kids that left, like, obviously it's, like...
I feel like they would have been... Oh, sorry.
Like,
I keep interrupting.
The kids that left, I told myself, like, imagine if those were, like, the kids that were, like, targeted or whatever, and this is how school ended up being. Like, obviously, like...
That's what I was thinking, too.
Yeah, and then I was, like, that was really crazy to think about.
Because when I was in my class where it was me and 3 other people, I was, like, what if this was... Like, what if these people were the ones who, like, would have gotten killed?
Yeah,
like, what if it was just, like, us 4 survivors and, like...
Yeah,
like,
but you also think about, like, oh, like, what if my classmates get killed? But it's, like, what if you end up being one of the classmates?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that too. Or, like, being... Like, what about... Also, another thing is, like, what about the guilt of, like...
Yeah,
what if someone came in your class, shot everyone but you? Like, what that feeling of guilt, I don't think I would ever be able to live with.
Or, like, the guilt of leaving and then hearing that people in your class got shot in the class you're supposed to be in.
Mm-hmm.
But, like... I don't know. I feel bad for saying this. Like, obviously, when someone, like, if somebody at your school were to get shot, you would obviously be really upset and, like, traumatized. But I feel like if it was someone that was, like, close to you, that would be probably one of the most traumatic experiences ever.
And then in class, I started crying because I was like, I'm so scared. And, like, I don't know, a rock, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I was really surprised when she was so scared.
Doesn't show her feelings to us.
Yeah. She's always like, oh, you know, I'm fine. I mean, it doesn't matter. But, like, today she was like, I'm scared. Like, I'm so scared. And, like, I was like, you know, I'm like, not I was saying it as much as her. And I was like, this is, like, so real. And, like, she wasn't saying anything. She was reading the chat and was just kind of there, you know? Like.
In the mornings, I feel like I wasn't really that scared. I was just, like, really irritated. Because I was like, come on, like.
I was nervous. I was like, when is it gonna happen?
Yeah,
is it actually gonna happen?
When it was 5 minutes before.
Yeah, no,
it was like 25.
Everybody was looking at the clock.
Everybody was like,
a bunch of people were like tearing up and looking at the clock, and they were like, "Guys, we're gonna find out in 5 minutes if it's real."
Yeah, and then people were like 1 minute, and then since it was 30 to 35, we had to wait that 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That felt so slow. And then once we got in the hallway, it was.
Once the bell rang in my class, everybody just like sat there, was like, should we go or not? And then after like a minute, everybody left.
It sucked. Like, guys, what if this is, like, the last thing we do? Because we were working on a project as a table. She was like, what if this is, like, the last thing that we do?
Yeah, that was... They actually told a joke in my class. They were like, we were looking at pictures of STIs. We're like, what if the last thing we ever did was look at pictures of STIs? I was like, yeah,
wow.
I hope so.
But the last moments of your life are in school, the place you hate the most.
And then I started listening to Microcosmos. Because I was like, you know, like, if it's gonna... Like, I was listening to that while I was walking, like, really fast in the hallway. I was like, if it's gonna happen, you know, I might as well, like, happen on listening to something that I really like.
That's true.
And then my friend was like, imagine if it, like, happened, and then they found you, and your playlist was still going, and they were like, oh, this was a BTS fan.
Oh, sorry. Let me just...
They were like, oh, wait, this one doesn't matter. She was a BTS fan.
Did they have a Blackpink shirt on under their uniform? Like,
oh...
Imagine having to be, like, the people that are looking for the bodies.
Yeah, or, like, I watched a documentary on a crime scene cleanup crews. It is...
That would
and, like,
be really traumatizing.
I mean, they make a lot, but, like, it has to be the hardest
Imagine
job.
seeing
but,
bodies.
like, especially since they're, like, teens and young.
Well, I mean, the cleanup crew, they just... When the body's gone, then they start cleaning up, and they'll be, like... In the documentary, there was this guy who shot himself because he was depressed. He lived by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, like, cleaning it. And she was like, oh, well, good thing I checked over here because I found, like, a piece of his skull. Like, it's like, the thing is, it's, like, you don't see the body, but, like, you see, like, the blood. You see the web. Well, not always, but, like, you can see, like, the thing that they killed himself with and, like, whatnot. It's,
But, like, then I also started thinking about, like, other students, like, the stuff that they went through, and I got really sad because, like, I remember like at Parkland, I forgot whether they were like cousins or brothers,
Mm-hmm.
but like they were running together, and then they were running out of school, and then one of them was like, wait, I have to like go back for somebody, like I'll catch up to you. And then they started messaging them, and they were like, where are you, and then they found out that when they went back into the school, like they died.
Mm-hmm.
And then like this one story made me really
The
upset.
Parkland stories were so sad.
Mm-hmm. Like there was this cousin, like a little cousin, I think, and he had an older cousin, and then his cousin died, and then he was like, growing up, like we told each other that we were gonna grow old together, and that made me really sad.
And we had to do I was at the Pizza and Politics on guns.
Went to Pizza and Politics.
And
With
there was,
who?
I went with and there, but
Was it for the free pizza?
no, like, Amy, it's so much fun. Like it's the pizza's good, the cookies good, but it's so much fun. She's like, you have to go. So yeah, so I went for the food, and then yeah, so we went there, and like obviously we got to the Parkland and just all those like, you know, school shootings, and this one kid was like, well, it doesn't have to be a school shooting. What if someone brought like a knife or like a different weapon? But it's like, yeah, but what other school shootings have you heard of with a knife or like? That's why we call it a school shooting, because it's usually done with guns. Like I never heard any other types, like with a stabbing and stuff.
I've heard some school stabbings, but like usually only like
It's usually
one or
like
two people.
yeah,
can
that's
stab.
the thing. It's usually like for like somebody that's being targeted.
Yeah.
But like,
and that's not
I
really
feel
a
like-
school attack. That's that's just a murder or a
because
homicide.
school shootings are mainly like mass murders because they're
Mhm.
angry at like mainly, you know, like they're not
Yeah,
really
whatever they're
angry
mad
at a
at,
specific person. They just want to take their anger out.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then another thing was, and this was said, she was like, oh, like we live our lives every day in fear that this could happen to us. And then this one kid's like, no, like I've never had that fear in my life. And we're like, Janet's like, what do you mean? Like we live in an American school system where like, look at, I walk into school every day, show them my ID, but they never check me. What if I had a gun in my backpack that day?
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, well, that's the thing is, it's not gonna happen to us. It's a 1 in a million chance.
That's literally
No, it
the
isn't.
stupidest thing.
Yeah, and then
There's been so many in like 1 year.
like this is really dumb, but I remember going into like my surgery to get my appendix removed, and they were like, I forgot what the statistic was. I think it was maybe like a 10% chance that I would like that something would go wrong, that I would live.
Yay!
That something would go wrong, and they're like, but if it went wrong, it would like maybe like I don't know, cause you like I don't know, it wouldn't automatically mean death, but it could mean death.
Mm-hmm.
And like I still went to it, and I was like terrified because I was like, okay, this could happen, like I might not wake up from this, like I don't know. And like to think that somebody takes a statistic that's not that high as like being nothing,
Mm-hmm.
when in reality there's like
Like
millions
that, there's
of
a reason
school.
why there's
like
a
there's
percent.
always a
like,
chance it can happen.
exactly. Even if it is a 1% chance, you know.
It can still happen.
Wait, I'm stupid. There's like 47. How many people? Like 47 million school? I mean, no, 47 million people in America.
There's a
Right?
I don't know.
bunch.
Well, there's
I
like
don't know.
millions of people in America, and I said there's millions of school, and I'm like, wait, does that mean that there's like 47 people per school? No, there's like thousands of schools. Never mind, I'm dumb.
Well, but his mom, who was also there, cause she like hosted. I don't know. Anyway, but she was like, you know,
I'm so stupid. I think it's like more than 100 million. Never mind. Go ahead.
but Liam's mom was like, you know, my niece also said that she kept, you know, like she would have to go to those drills and she would complain to me whenever I would see her. She's like, oh, those suck. And then it ended up that she was at Parkland and one of her best friends died. So
Wait, what?
so
the person's talking. Her niece, his friend died.
or her niece was like, oh, I hate those drills. They're so stupid.
Yeah.
And then she ended up, she was in Parkland. So she did end up having a school shooting. She said it was the scariest moment in her life because, like she was in her class and, like, she just like heard like people like crying and like screaming and the gunshots, and she said it was the most traumatic thing that she's ever experienced in her whole life.
Then you have survivor's guilt after that.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of people commit suicide because they don't want to keep living.
Mm-hmm. So it's I feel like, I think just in general, I think our school is stupid because like now for the next 2 years.
Wait, but there was a school shooting threat like 3 years ago, and the thing is at the
Here?
school. Yeah.
Really?
There was this girl who was a senior in my art class, and she said that she's like, 3 years ago when there was a threat when I was a freshman, and I was like,
no one talks about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they should.
Well, I mean,
bring awareness.
it's
to all
because the
these.
school tries so hard to keep up their reputation
Yeah.
that they try to hide things that happen. They try to make it seem like it's all
'Cause
okay.
you're like,
Look
like,
at us. We're
the
so
thing
cool.
is-
We have a black box theater.
I feel like their reputation is if we did have that threat, I think it would look better for them if they were like, there's a threat, we're not gonna go to school today,
Yeah.
like instead of being like, oh, this is a rumor
Look
that's
at
not
our-
actually happening.
Look
Because
at
what if there
our
was a
students.
school?
Look at our
Sorry.
students pushing through, knowing that this is all.
And you look in a
fake.
classroom, you see all the kids calling their moms, like, saying, I love you, if I die,
Yeah.
don't worry.
And like, I don't know his last his name, everyone calls and yeah, he was on the phone with his mom.
What does he look like?
He's kind of tall. He's not kind of tall. He went to
Oh, he's
Blonde?
blonde. He has
Mhm.
his hair kind of like this now. Okay.
yeah.
One
He's
time he complimented my Legend of Zelda book. He was like, "That is an awesome book." In like 7th grade, and I just looked at him and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was on the phone with his mom, and he was like, yeah, did you get the email? He's like, and then like, of course I couldn't hear what she was saying, but he was like, yeah, can I go home? He's like, oh, okay, I love you, bye. And he sounded so sad because I think his mom said no to bring him home, or maybe she did say
And
yeah,
it makes
but
me really
yeah.
sad because I remember last year I used to be like, wow, that kid's like really nice and like a wholesome person, and like, when someone's a really wholesome person, then it makes you sad. Yeah.
He was in my class for. You know how we had to read out stories about like our like something that is bad.
Or something that is bad.
Yeah. He wrote like a story about his family and how they got like it isn't very good or something. I was like, oh.
That makes me upset.
Yeah.
I remember in 8th grade, my teacher made me read a poem out loud.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Oh, this is a very good bittersweet poem. Please read it." And I was like, "No, thank you." She was like, "Do it." And I was like, "Oh." And so I read it, but halfway, I remember like towards the end of the poem, I was like talking about like, because it was like a happy poem and I got really sad, and I was like, these were the times I was like, these were the times when mom and dad didn't fight, and then a bunch of the kids in my class were like,
Yeah.
so now I'm pretty sure that those kids, like, they just see me as, oh, that girl who has like
I think
issues.
that's another thing is I think teachers shouldn't push students to do things that they don't want to do.
Exactly.
Because like,
It could cause, I don't know, mental problems sometime, I
yeah.
guess. Or
Like-
make it worse, sorry.
They could just make them more self-conscious,
Yeah.
because I know that made me more self-conscious, because I'm like, oh, that person was in my class back then, they know that my
Yeah,
parents
because then
fight.
you feel like everybody's gonna judge you for something that you've done.
well, I was thinking more like when we were today in my first block, we were talking about it, and that was kind of how we were coping with it. It's just like getting all the information that we know about it out there, because like it helps us better understand the situation and not be in the dark and being scared like, oh, what's gonna happen, is this even like, and like talking about it was really helping. But like our teacher was like, guys, just don't talk about it, because
It's like, no, that's not gonna happen.
yeah, like this is how we're coping with it, like, like, yeah, I mean, some people don't want to think about it at all,
Yeah.
but like can't get the best of both worlds,
Most of the time, like, I learned that for grieving, like, if somebody were to die after, like, the thing happens, and it's been, like, a while and you're starting to heal, like, part of the healing process is actually talking about it, because, like, remembering it and, like, the happy times is good for you. Like, repressing your feelings and pretending like nothing happened is, like, unhealthy for you. So.
Yeah. And also, I feel like the fact that they're like, oh, but we have counselors upstairs. If you
Oh,
want
yeah,
to go talk to them.
They're always like, we have the counselors upstairs.
It's
Like,
like,
go
yeah,
talk to them. It's like, okay, what are they gonna do? Literally, you
Yeah.
tell me what a social worker is gonna do. Like a
Mhm.
school social worker is gonna do.
Cause like, what if I go up there and I'm like, oh, I'm really scared. What are they gonna do? Be like, no, it's fine. This is all
Yeah.
fake. Like,
I
every-
literally.
That's what they would probably say. It's like, it's okay, don't worry, nothing's gonna happen.
I have
You
a
don't know that.
friend
Yeah.
whose older sister, when she was like starting to develop anorexia,
Mm-hmm.
the older sister went to the school social worker, and the social worker was like, this isn't an issue, like, I don't see you being underweight or anything like that. And then, like, literally 3 months later, like, my friend's sister ended up in the hospital because she was so underweight that she couldn't even, like, walk anymore.
Mhm.
And it's like, school social workers literally do nothing, so I don't
Mhm.
really understand why,
Mhm.
like, the principals and stuff are always like, oh, the school social workers will help you, and all they care about is, like, you passing your classes.
Yeah.
Cause they're not equipped to be dealing with like actual like mental health
Yeah.
issues,
No one
even though
wants
they
to
should
go to
be.
them anyways.
Yeah, and like, even my like counselor, like like counselors are supposed to do like checkups on like
Mhm.
each of their students, be like, oh, how's everything going?
They
don't
don't
do
do that. They literally don't do
I've
that.
only seen my counselor like twice.
My
Me too.
counselor the only time that, like, I know that she does that with me, but that's only because she knows that I have, like, a history of, like,
Mhm.
mental health issues. I know that she doesn't do that with other students because other students hate her. They're like, I don't like her. She
Mhm.
just, like, tries to tell me that I shouldn't pursue my career dream because, like, there aren't that many, like, people hiring for that anymore. And I'm like, to me, she tries to talk to me about my family and stuff, but that's only because
Mm-hmm.
they care about certain students and not others.
Yeah, cause like my brother used to be like, oh yeah, my I hope you get mine counselor, because my counselor, she'll email you, be like, how's your classes going? I see you're doing good in this class. I see you're not doing good in this class. But like, I feel like the counselors now are just so like,
They don't care.
they don't care. Like every time if I ever have to go see my counselor, like when I was like dropping down or like changing my
Mhm.
schedule, like every time I walk into her room, she's doing nothing. She's literally standing
Yeah.
there listening to music. And it's like, you could be like talking to your students, asking how things are going. You could be like, you know, and that's what counselors are supposed to do. They're supposed to say like, how are your classes going? Because maybe a kid has an A, but maybe they're struggling to get that A.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I've only met my counselor to talk on my classes for the next year, and that's
Mhm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
But also that's because like the school systems are becoming so systematic.
Yeah.
Like America at this point only cares about like producing workers
Mhm.
and stuff, and that's really all they care about because they don't really care about you as an individual. They kind of just care about the fact that you get good grades and then like represent college as well,
Yeah.
and then like become a good office worker and help the economy or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Because it's kind of like,
Stupid.
it's like a game, like, like you'll be playing a game where like the more, like SimCity, like the more people you have in your city, the better, but it's like, that's what it kind of feels like in reality, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Because like
I feel like those games are based on
well, I mean,
real life.
yeah.
So,
but like I'm saying, like to like the government, we're just a number.
We
I don't-
are.
Yeah, I know this sounds stupid, but I don't really see why you really care. The government cares so much about like the economy and stuff. Just live your life. If you have enough money
The reason
and you
they
like can control enough, then you should be fine.
actually, it's
honestly-
funny because we're one of the poorest countries. Because like we're in debt by billions. Like
but our current president doesn't. He have to do with like a lot of issues that we're facing right now.
mm-hmm.
I just want to move to a different country.
Me too. But all countries are bad right now because like there's global warming going on and stuff like that. And like there's a lot of political issues going on in
Canada
other
might go into war with the
countries.
Philippines.
Yeah.
It's not good. I hope that doesn't happen because like okay, so I don't know if you guys heard about this, but you guys know Justin Trudeau, the Canadian
Mhm.
Prime Minister.
I don't.
Oh, he's a Canadian Prime Minister, and he's like one of my favorite. Like, I hate politics, but he's my
Mhm.
favorite politician. He's like so down to earth. He's like a feminist, and he's like pro LGBTQ. He made it completely legal to be for gay rights in Canada.
Wait,
and
why
like
was
legalizing
Obama so
marijuana.
hated if he didn't
Yeah, I
really,
liked him.
Because
Yeah.
my mom explained it to me, and she was like, because a lot of Republicans didn't like that he was black, and that they were trying
See,
to.
that's what makes me angry, because I was like, okay, while he was president, he did a lot of good things for like people that were in low income situations.
Yeah.
He literally legalized LGBT marriage. It's like crazy to think about, because like when we were growing up, we didn't think about like, oh, there's gay people and they can't get married. We were just kind of like, oh,
Gay
you know.
people, wow. Like, I didn't really, like, make it a difference that they're straight and gay. It was like, oh, people.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
But unlike
and
our,
so
like, our parents.
it's like crazy to think about that literally like a couple of years ago they weren't even able to get married.
Yeah.
And it's
Mhm.
like then like we grew up and like some of us found out that like, oh wait.
And actually, like, when we were doing presentations in class, we were learning about LGBTQ, and like they were saying that back in like past 1800s, like it was legal to be gay. Like it was more than fine. Like it was common, and like it was okay. Even the church was like, yeah.
But like, yeah, because you know when you look at those like, but not just like, you know, in America, I'm talking about like everywhere. Like back then in history, you know how there were like these Japanese art things, or was it Chinese? I don't know, I forgot. But like there were like these pictures that people like made, and it was of like people like having sex or whatever. But it was like guys and guys, and then like girls and
Same
girls,
sex.
and like different like, you know, gender is like, you know, and so I don't think people really cared about that back then. But like for some reason people started caring about it.
'Cause like it is just a lot.
Also, I saw this really funny thing the other day. I think it was a TikTok.
Of course it was.
Like, this person was like, wait a minute, Jesus died for our sins, and if being gay is a sin, didn't Jesus die for the gays? And I was like, whoa. I guess Jesus died for the gays.
Guess so. Yeah. Also, I tried looking into the LGBTQ prom, and I went to the website, and
There's a website?
well, the thing is, I went to the website, and it was like, even though the poster outside the school says 14 to 18, the website says 12 and up. And like, and there's adult tickets which are for 18 and up, so I'm really confused.
That's scary.
'Cause I don't wanna go to one-
12-year-olds, and I'm not gonna go.
Yeah, and if there's gonna be like 20-year-olds, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. Maybe I went to the wrong thing, but I
It's
don't know.
probably the wrong one, because I wouldn't see why they would have a website.
Also,
or
why
why
do
they
they
would
only have
sell it
one
for
poster
18.
at the school?
Because they only have one LGBT bulletin board.
But like, why can't they put it anywhere else?
Well, I feel like because there's like I don't, like, I feel bad saying this, but I feel like because there are some people that might be like
homophobic
upset
and like
by it, yeah.
and like
They
rip
don't
it down
want
and
to put
stuff.
it all over the school, and I feel like that's why they have like a little section dedicated.
Do you think that's why
for
they put it in the locked chest?
Actually, now that I think about it,
like the locked display
Yeah.
case.
because it's in a display case and it's locked.
Yeah, there's like a key thing. Yeah, so that's probably why. They probably just want people like to rip them out and throw them away and stuff.
But like, I mean, here's the thing though, like school GSAs are like really bad and cringy, because like there's a certain type of group of people that go to that, and it's mainly like freshmen to like juniors, or those people that are like, oh my god, like I'm in, you know, like I'm an asexual like unicorn and I bring cake with me everywhere. Like that's like what they tell everybody, and it's like, please invite me to the party, I provide cake. And it's like,
And like, I would say the most annoying like thing ever was when like she was like, honestly, the way I want to go out is with a bunch of dicks in my mouth and suffocated by boobies. And I'm like, you're the reason that like LGBTQ gets
No,
made
there's
fun of. Like,
literally-
that's obnoxious. She said that out of nowhere too.
No,
It
literally,
wasn't like,
yeah.
like, how do you want to die? She
There's-
literally just said that out of nowhere.
It bothers me because there's like so many people now that make fun of LGBT because of people that are like, wait, no, like demisexuals have to be included in it, like pansexual isn't the same thing as bisexual, like we get it, it's not like, oh, asexuals need to be part of the LGBT, and it's like, why do all of these different identities have to be part of LGBT? It was created for like lesbian, gay, bisexuals, and transgenders, and then it has a little plus at the end for all the other things. Like, I don't understand why people want to make the name longer.
Yeah.
And like, well, all of these people get offended when other people don't really recognize like their sexuality or whatever, even though I feel like I don't know, I think you should respect somebody and like what they identify as, but I don't think that like everybody has to know every single sexuality out there.
Yeah.
And every single like, I also don't really know how I feel about neo pronouns, because like people that want to be called like it or like they or like z and stuff like that, it's like, you're kind of the reason why people make this a joke at this point.
And like, I feel bad for people that do feel disrespected, because I would hate to be in their situation where it's like you have a sexuality and you tell someone about it, like, oh, what's that mean? Like, you know, like that would suck. But like at the same time, I feel like you said, if we made like even LGBTQ, like I wish there was like just a word that would just describe that, because like even then it's just like a lot, and like if we kept adding on to it, then it would just become a joke, you know.
And like, I don't know, it just really bothers me because there's like all these people that like most of the time like they're accepted already by their family, and I feel like they want to add like a new layer of oppression to themselves and make themselves feel like, oh wait, no, like I'm this, you know.
Oh, like they're in more of a
family,
minority. Yeah.
And then there's people that literally aren't accepted by their family for like, you know, for like being gay or something like that. And like all these other people just like keep adding more and more identities to themselves, and it's usually those people that like whose entire identity and personality just revolves around their sexuality and like, or their pronouns or something. And I also don't like people that aren't transgender that transition, like people that are like, you don't need body dysphoria to be trans, when you do, because that's what being trans like roots from is body dysphoria. Because like if you don't, like if you stand in front of a mirror and like you like your body, like you don't see anything wrong with it, you don't see like, oh, like I don't belong in this body, like I'm not supposed to be a female, or I'm not supposed to be a male, then like there's no reason for you to transition. Because it's like already hard enough for people that feel the need to transition to be able to like get the materials that they need without having other people that don't even have the mental illness taking it from them.
And like, it must be like so hard for like transgender people, because like just think the confusion of being like growing up and just like not understanding like the way you're feeling, and like when you look at yourself and you're like, this isn't right, like, you know. And like
I already find it like really upsetting that like they're not accepted, like, because I feel like the LGB part of LGBT is like pretty much fully accepted in society now, but like I feel like transgender people aren't given the respect that they need, because like body dysphoria is like a mental illness, and like being transgender roots from like something that happens in birth, where like your brain doesn't really connect with your body, and so it's like your brain telling you that like you don't belong in that body. It's like not your fault, and it's like not something that you chose. I don't really see why anybody would choose to like go through like hormone changes and like body surgeries to like change themselves. So.
And like I think that's what made me so mad when what is she called? You know who's up? She used to be yes, like I try to respect her, because like I didn't like her as a person, but I want to respect her because like I understand like if she was going through that, but like at the same time, like my like like just the way my experiences with her is just like so bad, and like she used to make jokes about LGBTQ, and maybe it was just because they were having a hard time understanding, and at the time
her coping mechanism, but like, that's still not, that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's why when I heard it, I was like, oh, is she lying? Like this is that's wrong if she is lying, you know. And but like I'm just trying to like, even if they are lying, I'm just gonna accept it and say
but, like,
because that's how I would want to be treated.
When you step back and look at a situation, it's like you have to understand what that person is going through, and it's like she probably wasn't comfortable with herself at the time, because I know that part of the reason why she moved schools was to start new, and to start somewhere where people wouldn't know and people wouldn't judge her for that transition. So I mean, I don't know, I'm just kind of upset because there are people from the school that we go to now that are like finding out and like, say stuff about her, and that makes me upset because it's like, I don't really understand why you feel the need to say anything about it, but go off, I guess.
And I pretty much, I'm just gonna say, like, I don't know her, because like I know who she used to be, and I did not like that person because the way that they said things to me. But like I'm gonna treat them as two different people, because like they were probably I totally agree. I think they were going through a lot of things at the time, and I don't want to be like over here like, oh, she sucks because she did this, but like now she's a different person. Like, but now she's more accepting of herself.
Now that I feel like once you learn to accept yourself, you can probably like become others. A better person and learn to accept others more too. That's what one of my friends was telling me the other day when I was out in the hallway with her. She was telling me, because we were talking about that one girl that used to be my friend, and then she like started spreading these rumors that I made her self-harm and stuff like that. And then my friend that I was talking to, she was like, well, it doesn't really matter what she says or like spreads about you, because at the end of the day, she doesn't even like herself. So it's like, it's not even anything that's your fault or is in your control. She's gonna keep doing this because she's not satisfied with herself and who she is.
And like, this is a little, again, off topic, but like, I feel like loving yourself is so important, because like a quote, remember when I said, Namjoon said, before you can love someone else, you must learn to love yourself.
Like, you have to love yourself
but like,
first.
And then after I heard that, I've been seeing that everywhere, and like, but like, even things that were made in the past, but that I just didn't really realize, you know, like, but it's so true, because like, my stomach's growling. But it's so true, because like, when you're in a relationship with someone and they're like, oh, you're so pretty, you're like, no, I'm not. Like, that must get annoying, because like, what if you were saying, like, let's give an example. Like, let's say I was dating Tammy Duckworth. I don't know. And I said, Tammy Duckworth.
You were dating Tammy Duckworth? I was dating Tammy Duckworth. Tammy Duckworth is code. I don't know if you know who Tammy Duckworth is, but we'll tell you about it later.
Okay, I'll be Brenda, and Tammy Duckworth will be Tammy Duckworth. Anyway, so what? So, like, let's say I was dating Tammy Duckworth, and I said, Tammy Duckworth, you're so beautiful, and then they were like, no, I'm not. I'm ugly. Like, that would, I wouldn't be. I'd be like, don't say that. Like, it would just get to the point where it's like Tammy Duckworth. But like, I feel like it just get to the point where it's like, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone that's like, because denies everything I tell them because they don't want to.
It becomes toxic after a while.
Yeah.
But, like, I've noticed that in myself too. Like, it makes me upset. Like, and I wonder how other people feel. Like, when they give me a compliment and I don't really accept it. I'm just like, oh, okay. Because it's like, I don't know. Like, let's say you really love somebody and you accept yourself and like you love yourself and stuff, but they don't. It probably really hurts to be like, oh, like, you're so amazing and I love you, and they're like, oh, I don't believe you, because they can't accept themselves. And that probably hurts a lot.
It's like it's a really hard process to go through to start loving yourself. So
it is. It's like really,
it takes
really hard.
Really long. It's really hard on yourself.
That's why all the BTS fans, when the Love Yourself era ended, they were like, well, I guess we can hate ourselves again.
But it's good that they're spreading that message.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good message to spread.
One of my favorite things from Game Grumps was Aaron. he was like, one day I just got out of the shower and I looked at myself in the mirror, and instead of being like, oh, I'm so ugly, he just looked in the mirror and said he was like, I love you, to himself in the mirror, and he said he just started crying, like, because it was just like, you know.
I did that one time. I forgot what it was, but I got really upset over something, and I was gonna start crying. So I went to the mirror, and I literally pointed at myself, and I was like, "You can do this. You did it yesterday. You can do it again. I love you, you loser." And then I started crying, and I was like, "Oh."
Because like, it's just, you know.
Really emotional.
But I feel like you really need to mean those words. Like, you can't just be like, I love you. Oh, that's your mom.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know when, like, you're singing a song and there's, like, a lyric and you're like, I love myself or something like that. And, like, you're saying it, but there's no actual meaning behind it. Because you don't actually, like, you know, you don't actually feel it. I feel like that's, like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't love themselves.
I feel like most people don't.
Yeah, most people probably don't love themselves. And
then people that do love themselves are seen as narcissistic.
Yeah, they're seen as narcissistic, even though it's like, you have to love yourself. Like, you're not really going to get that far into life if you can't learn to, like, fully love yourself and accept yourself first.
And that, I feel like I just kind of figured it out. But, like, I mean, it's true, because, like, everyone that I ever thought was narcissistic, like, I could also see is they just, like, love themselves and they care about themselves. Like,
yeah, because those are the people that, like, put effort into self-care, know when to, like, take time for themselves, and, like, they also know how to, like, treat other people nicely. Like, there's a difference between being narcissistic and, like, loving yourself.
But I feel like at the same time, people that don't understand, like, what it truly means to love yourself does classify that as narcissistic. But, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. Because Namjoon also said that, like, you have to find the way to love yourself. Like, that, like,
talking about Namjoon.
Yeah, but like,
Namjoon's very philosophical.
Yeah, I love that man.
John Locke who?
But, like, he's like, what is loving myself? Like, I don't know. And then it's like, loving myself could mean something else for, like, somebody else. Because, like, you're, like, I feel like it all goes, like, back to, like, experiences that you've had in life. And, like, I feel like maybe, like, loving yourself to one person could mean, like, accepting your body or something like that. And, like, to other people it could mean, like, accepting the fact that, like, maybe you're not good at something, and, like, you have to find, like, what you are good at. Or, like, finding out that, like, maybe you don't need some specific person in your life. Like, I don't know. I feel like it differs from person to person.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good
was
podcast episode.
That could have been, like, 5 different episodes.
That could have.
But we just went crazy.
We're just that good.
Yeah, let's hope it didn't, you know?
Yeah, we talked for completely an hour. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We talked for an hour?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it, right?
I thought it was for, like, 30 minutes.
I thought it was for 3 hours.
It was not a conversation.
Wait, like, did it even record?
Yeah, it did time.
Okay.
Well, bye.
Okay, bye.